Here's a little one I wasn't going to share with you. It's the Mondeo Mk3 2-litre TDDI auxiliary drive belt for the power steering. Let's show you what I come up against. Let's show you how to change it and what the symptoms are. Keep watching. Right, well, we've just done about a 400-mile journey in this car over the weekend and we had no problems whatsoever. And typical me, I spoke too soon because Sharon noticed yesterday when we was out in it that there was a slight smell of burning coming through the ventilation grills inside the car. I did notice it, didn't think too much of it. Anyway, we got home. This morning, Sharon's gone out to take the car out. As soon as she turned the car on, she noticed the smell coming through when it was running, ticking over. And as she went to reverse it out, she said the steering was heavy. So anyway, cut a long story short, I've come out now and we've had a little look at it and we found basically that stuck in the bottom of the drivetrain of the auxiliary belt for the power steering pump, there was a lump of plastic in there. So this is what we found wedged in, and as you can see, it's a lump of plastic there. Not too sure what it was from at the time, but it's all been overheated and that obviously was stuck in the belt. And if I show you the belt, it actually caused the groove in the belt. So I thought, well, all I'm going to do then is remove this. We found this in there. I don't know what that was from. Never seen it before in my life. And as I say, because it had worn a groove in that was obviously the smell of burning. So we naturally assumed we found the problem. So we went down and I bought a brand new drive belt and then we come back to fit it on. I'll show you how we're going to do that in a second, because it only takes about a 2-minute job to actually fit the belt, which I did do. And then I thought I'd just check the tensioner mechanism, because it's got an automatic tensioner on this. And I just detensioned it and happened to spin my hand underneath on the tensioning wheel, and I noticed that it was solid. Let me show you that. So I took the tensioner out, and this is the actual tensioner mechanism. I don't know whether you can see there, but there's this sort of a ball race there, which is obviously what the belt, the back of the belt runs on. And then when I looked at that, I thought, well, that obviously came off of there, as you can see. So obviously what's happened is the bearing seized up. That's caused this to overheat, and obviously this has come off, wedged into the belt, and that's obviously what's caused the groove, the smelling of burning. And also, as I said, this tensioner mechanism is what tensions the auxiliary drive belt for the power steering. And that would also answer the question to Sharon saying that she didn't think the steering was working properly. So anyway, cut a long story short, I got onto our motor factors, and this item here, which is the auxiliary belt tensioner for the diesel engine, this is the 2.2 TDCI. This unit costs £150. The motor factors I went to said that they can lower it to £100, but even so, I paid £8 for the belt, and I didn't really want to have to pay for this over £100 for this unit here. So the reason for me doing this DVD, as I said, I wasn't going to do this DVD, but I thought I'm going to show you how the savings that we made, because, wait there, I went down to the breaker's yard and I picked up this unit here, and as you can see, I can confirm that is the actual wheel that was melted off due to the seized bearing. And this one, not even a sound. Listen, no sound whatsoever. That unit there, brilliant. I went to the car, we found a few Mondeos down the breaker's yard, and this one was literally looking at us in the face, and it took literally 10 seconds to undo a 10mm bolt on the back, and then this just pulls out. Goes up to the chap in the office, asked him the price of it. Now don't forget, £100 was the best that the motor factors could do for a brand new unit. I paid £3.20 for this. One, first of all, if you've got some symptoms where you've got a smell of burning coming in the car, and maybe a possible problem with your power steering, feeling heavy or notchy or whatever, and it may be worth looking at this, because as I say, this is the savings I've made just by doing it. So let's go over now, take a look how simple it is to change the belt first of all, and also to take this unit off and to replace it with another one, preferably a second-hand one. And what I did do, obviously, if I would have spanned that down the breaker's yard and it would have made a graunchy noise, I obviously wouldn't have bought it. I would have gone to the next Mondeo, take the next one off and tested it. So obviously I've tested this while I was down there. I'm happy with that, and I'm taking a chance of £3 for the little time it takes to do this job. So let's have a closer look now. Right, so first of all, normally you've got the the big plastic cover that sits over the top of the engine. So if you've got yours and it doesn't look like this, you literally just pull up the big plastic cover, which if you look over there, as you can see, it's sitting over there, that just literally lifts up, and you have to take the dipstick out first, obviously, before you can take that cover off. So once you've got that out of the way, you may have another a smaller cover which sits on these two pins here, and that's literally a little plastic cover which pulls out of the way. Mine didn't have it on. The one down the breaker's yard did have it on. I could have taken their one, but I didn't bother with it. And then you'll see this belt here and this pulley at the top, and this is your main auxiliary drive belt. That if you can look down here as well, this is your, if I take that belt, slide that belt off, you can see this here, this operates your power steering pump there. And also on the back of your power steering pump is where you've got your water pump on the other side as well down there. We're not interested in that, as I say. This is the belt we're looking at here, and this is the belt we're interested in. Now, this mechanism, as I was just going to show you, all it does is fit in down here. So, hold on, let me show you this first of all. Right, so if I had the belt on, let's pretend that the belt was on first of all. I'm just going to put the reverse procedure in a minute. So what you've basically got is a lug there, and at the top of this little arm here, there's a little hole there where that lug fits into, like that. But what I'm going to do first is obviously take the belt off the bottom pulley. Now to take the belt off the bottom pulley, you've got this bracket here. There was obviously a pipe coming down here, as you can see, with two Jubilee clips on, which you've got to take out of the way. You've also got these two 10mm bolts here, which hold the metal part of that pipe on. You've got to lever them out of the way because you need to slip the belt through this gap here. So that's the reason why you have to undo them bolts. I'm just going to take it off the bottom pulley for the moment. And then I'm going to replace this jockey wheel mechanism for the belt. All that is a 10mm spanner, just to nip up, like that. The way you adjust this automatic tensioner is by using a 1/4" socket, and that 1/4" socket will fit into a hole which sits just about there. As you can see, it's a 1/4" drive socket. So all you'll do, you'll put your 1/4" drive socket in there like that, and then to detension the socket, you'll just lift it up as far as you can. As you can see, that lifting the spring there, and when you let go of it, that's what puts the tension on the belt when you put the belt on. So what I'm going to do now is to slip the belt on. Now you've got to wiggle that around the bottom belt first, I think. That's got to come around between these two bolts there, where these two bolts will go in there for that bracket. You've got to take them two bolts out because you've got to slide the belt down that little slide there, and it just goes behind the pulley. But you might have to put that in there and just lift up so you can get it behind the back of the pulley. It's a little bit awkward. There we go, that's on. Then just put the tension back on, and hey presto, it's back on the bottom pulley. The tension is doing its job, and it's on the rest of the belt. The longest part of the belt travel is down the back there, and I can feel that that's nice and tight just by pinging it. So right, once we've done that, you can then put these two bolts back in that bracket, which hold the metal part of that pipe on I was telling you about. And again, these are 10mm bolts. Right, there's two. Right, then that just means that I've got to get this hose pipe back on. It's a little bit fiddly, but it does go on. That little clip goes in there like that. And I'm just going to get a screwdriver now, do these two clips up. Right, okay then, that's the last bit on, and that's everything back now. So that's literally how simple the job is. The only thing, as I said, I haven't got that little cover on there which covers the actual pulley wheel up, so you may have that. So you may have that as an extra item to take off. So finally, all we've got to do now is literally replace the top cover if you've got one fitted. I have, so I'm going to do it. To do that, you've got to take the dipstick out. I'll just check my oil while I'm at it. And that literally sits on top of the engine like this. And as you can see, it just basically clips into place. And you have to just locate your dipstick hole through that little case in there just to make sure that goes in. And then obviously Just replace your dipstick like that. Right, so I'm just going to start the car up now just to make sure that everything's settled in all right, and then we'll call the job a good one. Wait there. Superb, that's it. There's our new belt moving about down there, I can see it. Everything seems to be running smooth, I'm happy with that. So, there you go. There's your little auxiliary belt for your power steering pump. That wasn't the only part of the problem. That was the initial part which we could smell burning. We found that little wheel there, obviously melted up. Couldn't find out where it come from. It's only when I fitted the pump, I thought I'd just check the pulley wheel and the tensioner. And that's when we found our tensioner mechanism, which as you can see is totally seized up. That's bearing there, which should rotate. So if I would have just put that belt on, it would have rubbed on that, and that would have burnt the belt out, and we would have been back to square one. So these cost £100 to £150. Do yourself a favour, just go down to a local breaker's yard or phone one up or whatever. I paid £3.20 odd for this. This whole job has cost me about £11 when it would have cost over £150 plus if you have taken it to a garage. It's worth noting. There you go. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to check out our other Mondeo videos. And if you like what we do, put us a thumbs up. Also subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you again in the next video. And until then, bye for now.